Alrighty. We are in the last paragraph of Siman Daled.
No, one hey. We went down to here yesterday.
No. The last thing we said.
Oh no, you read half of it.
No, the last thing we said was that the inyan of the Teffilin that we're talking over here is to shine down and to illuminate the Or Panim, through the Opnei Tzadikim, that will shine your Gdula in your mind, and through the process of you getting into Kedusha Torah, will resurrect the innate humility and the love of Moshe Rabbeinu, which is dormant in you, which is basically dead, really, in you. And it's dead not because you're a bad guy. It's dead because we are in a state where death, under the auspices of death, we are under the rule of death. Because we're mortal. It comes from the Chet of Adam Arishon. Had Adam Arishon not sinned, he would be able to be mechaya that humbleness.
That means Moshe Rabbeinu didn't have it.
He would rejuvenate the humbleness within himself, and he would never have to die. But he did that. So Mimele, it was Geyser that the entire humanity went into under the auspices of death. That means that until the final tikkun, everybody has to die, even Moshe Rabbeinu alone. You say Moshe Rabbeinu himself. Then the humility we're talking about is the humility of Moshe Rabbeinu. So Das Natenis, it should make sense that Moshe Rabbeinu himself would be part of him dying, right? Because he was Masakin, he was Megal this and all, B'tachat Shleimus with utter perfection. So the answer is, Enachiname for himself he didn't need to die. For himself he didn't need to die. As you can see, Take from Chanoich and from Eliyahu, that when somebody gets this madrega, they don't need to die anymore. But Moshe Rabbeinu dies for Klal Yisrael, because with Moshe Rabbeinu, not only that he died, but he died in Chutz La'aretz. He didn't come to Eretz Yisrael. So they said, why did the Kodesh Baruch Hu didn't want Moshe Rabbeinu to come to Israel? There are many reasons for it, but one of the reasons is that the Mesa Midbar, all those that died in the desert, are buried in the desert, and also Lavoi, they would have stayed there. Because they went there, they got there because of a boo-boo, but Moshe Rabbeinu being buried with them, when he gets up, he will bring. That's what the Medrash says. He will bring them all together with him. When Moshe Rabbeinu gets up from the Misa, he's me'er with him all the Moshe Rabbeinu particles, in each and every one of us, and everybody will get.
I read that in a book once. The Arizal said.
Nobody can hear you.
I read in a book.
Yes.
That the Arizal said that the final generation before the coming of Mashiach will be the Dor Meraglim and Moshe Rabbeinu, and the Tikkun will be whether or not they come back whether or not they come to the land of Israel. Because in the same way they were comfortable in the Midbar, they're comfortable in Chutz La'aretz, and it's going to be their Tikkun. I don't know.
Baruch Hashem, עכשיו יש נחל נובע מקור חוכמה. Now there is a flowing brook, a source of wisdom. Nachal nové makor chokhmah is Rosh Tevis Nachman. Rabbeinu started Likutei Maran. He says that Reb Shimon Bar Yochai is Ir v'Kadish Mishmai Anoch. That a burning, fiery angel descends from Shemaim is Rosh Tevis Shimon. He says, and now yesh Nachal nové makor chokhmah. Now there is Nachal Novea, there's Shimon Bar Yochai, and Mimele Rabbeinu Arizal is Ir v'Kadish Mishmai Anoch. That's the tikkun from above, but the final tikkun has to be from below. So
thought you had to stimulate below to get it from above.
Yeah, but Brias Olam started from above. There was nothing to start from below.
It's a matana.
So Nachinam in a sense. So Bemet, this the beginning of the Tikkun was with Ir V'Kadish Mishmai Anoches. But for the final Tikkun, as you said, it has to come from below. עכשיו יש נחל גם לכל חוכמה, זאת השם זה יהיה בסדר. Don't worry, בסדר גמור.
I once said this. I told this to.
Yes,
I had a guy on a book from England, and I had to. Sometimes I do like taxi jobs. I took him somewhere to the dentist, and I told him that.
What?
What I just told you about the Ariza, and he said, and he brought down a puzzle. He said, nobody can understand the Ariza. I said, don't talk about the Ariza. So, okay.
It's true. We don't understand this either. Both of them, we are meritorious enough to mouth the words. That's the reason that Reb Simcha was so particular, that we don't have our own chidushim on the Likutei Halachos. Much to the chagrin of people that learn with us.
We shouldn't have our own chidushim.
Not on the Likutei Halachos, no. Likutei Moharan, yes. Not Likutei Halachos. This is because you don't understand what's going on here anyhow. Likutei Moharan, Rabbeinu says he gave a rishus, not a rishus, but a choiv. Should be mechadash.
I see. Now I understand why. When I have chidushim in the shir, you're like, I don't know, just calm down.
No, if I know, the point is that you can say whatever you want to say, but it has to have a source. It has to have a source. It has a source. Okay, so they said no. But if it's like I'm taking this and says, something, this looks very much like this. I said, this is medama. You're comparing one thing to another. This is medama. This is medimioniska. This is where we have to be careful. Anyhow, so
Can I ask you a quick question from yesterday?
yes,
On the concept of dam and dom,
yes.
is that connected to the word medama from blood?
Bevadai, because we says that the Indian of Dam is leis odom below Aleph. You're supposed to reach the level of Aleph. The level of Aleph is Ein of Elul. What is Aleph? Aleph has a Nekuda Elyoina, a Nekuda above, a point above, and it has a point underneath, and it has a Vav in between them. There's a Yud above, there's a Yud under, and so symbolically, the above Yud is the sun, the lower Yud is the moon, and the line in the middle is the firmament, is the the rakia. In between, that's the conduit. The Vav is the 6 spheres of Ze'anpin. Gets from the Chochmah and gives to the Malchus. So you have the sun, you have the moon, and you have the Shamayim in between them. Now, the union of Shemesh, the tikkun of Shemesh is, Anil Dodi V'Doi Dili. The union of, as Rabbeinu says, is a bikiyas that you need to know. Torah. You have to be very proficient at handling yourself at all times. In other words, at the times of up, you should know that you haven't started yet, and at the time of down, you should know that the Shemot was right there with you. That there's and it takes a certain agility of mind to do. It's almost like flying a plane on instruments. When you get a vertigo, you think you're going up, but you're actually going down. So you have to believe the instrument kind of thing. It's like because the impetus is when you feel up, it's like, hey, excuse me, yes, and when you're going down, it's like, well, I can't believe this. I'm dying, I'm going to die. It's to do the opposite of what it feels like. When you're feeling high and mighty, hey, I haven't started yet. And so Rabbeinu says you need a bekiyas, you need proficiency in this. It's a skill that you have to own at all time to keep your equilibrium. So that's the union of El, of tshuva. I need a doili v'doili. I need a doili when I go up. Yimesak shamayim, there's a pasuk. Yimesak shamayim shamata. If I ascend to the heavens, shamata, you're still far. Sham. It's a atzia sheol. If I'm all the way down in the pits of no good land, hineka, here you are. You're with me.
Where is it?
It's Teffilin.
139.
You know, Mesak Shamayim Shama, Tatzia Sholi Neka. If I go up to the heavens there, you're still far. So this kind of balance is what you need to. No, I forgot what I started talking about.
Can you say that passage again? It's beautiful.
Likutei Maran Torah Vav. It's the same Torah. I'm telling you the same thing. Man, I'm getting
Not the Torah,
old.
the Teffilin.
139.
Imesak Shamayim Shama. Imesak Shamayim Shama. Tatzia Sholi Neka. Imesak Shamayim Shamato. If I will in Bibchinas, I can read it. Imesak Shamayim. So Imesak Shamayim, that's the Nekuda Elyon, that's the upper Nekuda, that's the Chochmah.
Im Asak, it means if I
Esak,
work.
Esak means soar.
If I soar to Shemayim, there you are.
Means Sham. The Prince Sham afar. You're still there. You're not here.
I
You're
still got
there.
a long way to go.
Atzia Sheol. If I make my bed in Sheol Tachti Yasineka, you are there with me.
Lowest of the low.
Here you are. So this is the kind of agility of yeah. That's the. So the Rabbeinu says les Adam below Aleph. In order to become a Pchinas Adam, to become a man, you have to have the Aleph and put it together with the Dam.
To make it Adam.
Adam. Okay? Then is the Tikkun. This is the Adam HaSholem, where the Rebbe is supposed to sit on a chair. When you have this kind of agility, you know, not to get a swell head, you know, this is, you know, they say like, here's a man whose success has twisted his head. It's just a pity he didn't wring his neck. Right? Yeah, so keep your perspective. You know, just like when you're up and when you're down. You know, remember the. So when you put the Aleph, when you attain this in of Aleph, and you put it together with the Dam, then you Pchinas Adam. Then you are Adam. You're Adam Hashevet Alakisa. Then you're Adam Hasholem. That's that's the tachlis of Mimela Adam. This is why is it called Adam? You know, because Mina Adama Lukachta. Adama is Milishon Milvad Biyad Nevim Adame. So I would be imagined. Is Milishon Adama, Milishon Earth. So Bevadai Adam has to do with Medama Bevadai. Right, so Medama this already has the Aleph, has the Tikkun, because that, when you come to think of it, this equilibrium, not to get the swollen head when you're up, and not to be down and depressed and destitute when you're down, is really the ultimate level of Tikkun HaMedama. Because if you're up, what makes you all hoary? Because your Medama is not clean. You're saying, hey, I'm already, I made it. And when you're down, what's the thing that breaks you? Is the Madama, because you think that's it, I'm finished, I'm done, I'm history, forget it, you can stick a fork in me, I'm done.
Right, so the Aleph represents, just trying to clarify, the Aleph represents that balance between the upper and the lower.
That's right.
And when you add that to blood, you get a man.
You add that to the dome.
To the dome, to the silence.
Oh, you add it to the silence.
Yeah, you got insulted and you didn't answer back. And now you become a man. It's like tell me
That's awesome, man.
Thank you. I made it myself. Do you like it?
You.
You're good.
Okay, this is terrible. Less people think actually meant to go. All right.
We're in the last seat of.
Yes, Valken, at page 166. Valken, Iker Teffilin. You know, the time to put on film is the regular weekdays. That's the time when the 39 malachas crafts which are the derivatives of Zomas Anachash, from the filth of the contamination of the snake, Shu Sitra Damata, that is the side of death. Okay, it is impossible to defeat them. Kim aladei kedushas Teffilin HaKadoshim. The only way to defeat that filth of Yemei Achol, which is the time where the auspices of death, the auspices of the 39. That's the reason why in the Mishkan, this is where do we learn that there are 39 malachos you're not allowed to do on Shabbos? The Melechas HaMishkan, because in the Mishkan there were 39 kind of crafts. And from there we learn these are all the malachos that you cannot do on Shabbos. Now, why Dafka with the 39 malachos were in the Mishkan? This is where we learn it from. Is because when Adam Arishon has contaminated Adam and Chava, he put in the klala of now you have to work. You brought about the curse that now a man has to work for his bread.
Except for Shabbos, which wasn't there.
Okay, so the whole concept of work comes from the contamination of the snake. There wasn't this snake. Bada bim, bada boom. Now they have to work. Now they have to talk. Now, the Indian of the malachas themselves are, yes, they are. What's the pshat curse? A curse is not like two kids in the sandbag. Not two. That's not what it's about. A curse is, people think that a person now has to work in order to win his bread. So people usually think that what's the pshat that is a curse? That there is a prevalent situation that no, you have to work. But if you're lucky, you have money, your father has money, you're part of from the klala, you're outside of the klala. The answer is fakir. A klala, being cursed, is different than having a bedlock. Being cursed means that you live inside a reality where living under the constrictions of the curse is the best thing for you. If you get out of the curse, you're totally miserable. If people have a ton of money suddenly, or the parents have money, whatever it is,
You're not occupied in something.
no, they get totally corrupt. The point is that you need to work to be a mensch, to be a human being. That's pshat curse. Curse is it becomes the best thing for you. That you can't get out of it. There's no escape route. There's no escape hatch. You can't get out of it. The same thing is the union of
It's like exercise. A person just sitting on the couch all his life, he's not going to have to do
yeah. So the point is that that's the same thing with Noach. That cursed Cham. It says Knan Eved Avodim Yelaecho. The point is that in the curse means that the only shleimus of Knan is if he's a slave. If he gets out of slavery, he's lost. He says Evet Kiimloch is like the worst reality it can be. A slave that becomes a ruler. But they like to sing now slavery. But well, the point is that if somebody lives in reality of being a slave, it's the best thing for them. Just think about it. All right. If you didn't call it slavery, which has a bad name, but you call it guaranteed lifetime employment with benefits, no responsibility, you just do what you're told, and if you happen to have a nice master, all you need to do is just do what you're told. You ain't told what to do, just lie down and relax and take it easy.
No, responsibility.
No responsibilities.
No pressure.
How many people do you think in the world would opt for it? If you didn't call it slavery. Oops. Be careful, don't say me too.
I think some people. I think some people go to prison because they don't want to.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Definitely.
No, so the point is that when you see when you learn the Rambam in Hilchos Avodim, Rambam obviously lived in a time where slavery was prevalent, and he says that how you're supposed to behave with your slave. He says a person has to be, has to be clever, has to be wise in dealing with his slaves. You have to be chochom, they shouldn't argue, be kind to them. Suddenly you understand from the Rambam, from the way that he explains it, that it's not just, peel me a grape. This kind of reality. It's a situation, it's like having pets. It's like having children. It's like a part of your family.
President of a company. That's what they are.
It's like it's a part of your company. It's a part of your life. It's part of your household. You have to take care of them, and they have their own feelings, and they're bickering with one another. You have to be, read what the Rambam is writing about it, and you get a totally different perspective on slavery. I mean, evidence forget about it. Wow. When it comes, every soul says anybody who gets every soul is koine odom latzma. It's like as if you're buying a master for yourself. It's b'chlal. You have two pillows. If you have one, if you have two pillows, he has to get the same pillow as you. If you have one pillow, he gets it. I mean, everything. It's just like you have one bed. If you have two beds, he's sleeping on a bed, you're on a bed. You have one bed, he sleeps on the bed, you're sleeping on the floor. I mean, having every soul is a mess. I mean, you don't want it.
So why would somebody want to nail their ear to the thing, keep the evidence after 7 years? Why would you want to keep it?
Why you would do it?
If it's like such a heartache, why would you want to keep an evidence there?
What happened if you have more than two beds? Now he can pick up stuff, and he still has to do what you tell him. Right. It's what I'm saying is,
shoes.
polish my shoes, take them down the garbage. Just like that. And evidence is an evidence, nevertheless. But so anyhow. So the case is so the melachas themselves, the 39 melachas, can be either good or bad. Once they're given, once there is a curse, once there's a klala, Kadosh Baruch Hu, the nachash bit, contaminated, humanity is in a klala, humanity is under a spell. Okay. But the spell now, which means a spell means that it can be the best thing for you. It can either be lamites malachas that pull you into olam hazeh, to run after olam hazeh, to be wealthy, to buy yourself yachts and this and that and whatever, or you can take the lamites malachas and use it for melechas mishkan. You can build a mishkan. So the union of the lamites malachas is it's a curse. Where it's a curse that you can sanctify the whole idea is that this union of malachas exists within the realm of Yom Chol, of regular days. This is of Mutter. This is the realm of Noga, the realm of Tovara, the realm of Medama. This is where the Lamites malachas exist. The main mitzvah of Teffilin is when? Is in weekdays. Shisholet az lamed el melachas. This is the time where the 39 melachas rule. This lamed, which are the contamination of the snake, which is the auspices of death. Okay, it is impossible to defeat it. And to get out of it, the sanctity of the holy tefillin. That's the way. That's the tool you have with which to step it down. Why? Because the because the tefillin represent eternal life. That's the opposite of the side of death. However, during Shabbos and Yom Chol HaMoed, Shem Be'atzman Os, they themselves are, that conduit for eternal life. Because in them shines the Kedusha of Shabbos. In Yom Tov, in Chol HaMoed, in Shabbos Kamuvan, shines that light, permeates them. The Kedusha of Shabbos, which is Chaim Nitzchim. That you're forbidden to put on tefillin. And not only this, anybody who puts on tefillin on Shabbos is Chayav Misa. Why? Because it shows that as if during Shabbos there's the autonomy of death, Chas v'Chalila. To the point that you have to put on tefillin because you have to countermand it. Because it's exactly the opposite. You pull that person draws misa on himself, death upon himself. Because in truth, in those days, those specific days, these days are portals. They're not just reality. But, like you said, the Bermuda Triangle or whatever it is, a portal between dimensions. That there's a place in the sea that's the portal between this world and the next world. These portals are not in Pchinas Mokam. They don't exist in Pchinas of place. What they do is they exist in Pchinas of Zman. They exist in the aspect of time. Shabbos, Yom Tov, and Chol HaMoed. That's where it's at.
Said each chag is different midas, right?
Right. It's a different application, yes. That's why somebody is an oval, Simon Hay. Someone is an oval, is forbidden to put on film the first day.
Is that why David Melech did die on Shabbat? Because Shabbat doesn't have death doesn't have a grip on Shabbat?
He did that on Shabbat.
No, the Shabbat.
For the on Shabbat. That's what Shlomo Melech said. The dogs are hungry and my father is dead. As the Gemara says, from here you see that Tova Kelev Achai Min Ha'ari Hames, that it's better to be a live dog than a dead lion. So the best thing told him, for the dogs you cut up an avela, for your father, put a baby on him and carrying him from the sun to the shade. He died on Shabbos. That's what I know. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Oh, yeah, you're right. That's why he would do a feast, because he didn't die.
Yes. Okay, that's why an oval is forbidden to put on film the first day. Lama? Because of the Avelis represents an overwhelming occurrence of the side of the aspect of death. Chas v'sholem. As then a person who has a mitzvah Avelis means you cannot break down, you cannot defeat that inyan. Al yedei Anochas Tefillin. Anochas Tefillin is there to defeat the aspect of death and to put you into the category of those who exist forever. But in Avelis, the Yom Rishon, the Avelis is so strong, that it is impossible to defeat it, to bring it down to the film. That's why it is forbidden then to put on film. That's why the oval must sit on the floor. In order to manage, be totally bottled, to ameliorate and sweeten the judgment in its shorish. To put himself down, all the way down to the dust. In order to be Mamshech Chaim Nitzchim, you cannot do it, as a nice citizen putting on film. This is when you have to be totally, surrender You know, as Ruvo said about Germany, unconditional surrender. And that day, there has to be unconditional surrender all the way down, you know, to grab onto that nekuda of eternal life. Shem B'chinas Hanove Amitis. That's the true humility, the true humbleness. Shemesim Atzma Ka'ofel, that he puts himself as low as the sand, which means get up and sing, all the dwellers of the earth, of the dust. Anybody who manages to nullify himself in such completeness, until you actually merit life like this, which is really true anova.
But to be like,
הוא אינו צריך להשפיע עצמו לאופן ממש.
Can I just check
to
it?
Yes.
one's das,
What?
to vata one's das.
It starts with that. It starts with that. It starts, you know, it's and the whole thing is in the das. Everything happens. Kula b'chokhma yitbareru. All the birurim, all the tikkunim, all the unification happens in your mind. This is where the pitch, this is where the chord is. This is where the diamond, where the game is taking place. The field of dreams, as they say. Everything is happening in your thought. Kula machshava yitbareru. Yes.
We're saying that on Shabbos and Yom Tov, the aspect of death is lessened. We're saying that a mourner can't get away from the aspect of death. And we're saying that somebody who puts on Teffilin somehow avoids the aspect of death.
No. Somebody who puts on tefillin are the countermeasure
To what?
to the aspect of death.
For people
As
who
it's Shabbos.
I don't understand what it's saying. Somebody puts on Teffilin and still dies. I don't understand what it's saying. People still
People
die on
also die on
Shabbos.
Shabbos.
Exactly.
That's it.
I don't understand.
You're talking about aspects thereof. You're talking about the Indian is la'osid lava, the tikkun, when the tikkun is a tikkun asholan, when it's a complete tikkun, taka people won't die, definitely won't die on Shabbos. David HaMelech was whatever. It says the Indian is that you're zeichet to tikkun asholan, that people won't have to die anymore. Ultimately, it's the same question of why, as Adam Rishon says, beyond the day that you'll eat, you'll die. I didn't die that day. And we said, being that he was taken out of the realm of life and put into the auspices of death, it's as good as dead. Same thing is over here. When you put in yourself a scheming of life, eventually that is your life forever. Ultimately, Rabbeinu says that, and this is another histakos, and you need to really disengage your mind a little bit from the moorings of what you know, what is comfortable. Rabbeinu said that when Mashiach will come, he'll give people such das that they'll see that the entire galus was one day. The whole thing is one day, so the Mela Adam Arishon did die the same day. Because the whole inyan of das, the whole inyan of time, it comes from the constriction of the das. That's why you see when you were a kid, a day took forever. The older you get, the quicker the days go. Suddenly, woof, a year is gone. Whatever happened, you know, suddenly everything is gone. So the Rebbe says that when a person has a das amiti, when a person has a true das, this entire life, 70 years, is like 15 minutes. Because ultimately, you know, we're living in this world. 70 years, 80 years, 90 years, whatever it is, we're like, whoa. We have time. I can go to like Aruba. Have a little fun. Well, because I have time. So there is no time. There is no time. As they say, you're born, and then you go like this, and suddenly you feel the hair on your chin. You turn around, you know, when your son is born, you know, you turn around, and suddenly he has what's it called? No.
Beach fuzz.
He has fuzz. He has
Peach fuzz.
He has peach fuzz, and then you turn around and they are his children, and then you blink and they are his grandchildren. The whole thing is the fact, this aspect that you feel that you have time, it's okay. And this is, it's. Rabbeinu says it comes from the constriction of the das. It's the same thing as in movies, in film. What they do is they have a rate, especially when they had the film. I mean, it was people are not really moving, right? But what they have is they have still pictures that each one is a little different, right? Right? So you have like 24 of them per second. So what happens is because of the constriction of your das, you don't grab it frame by frame. It teaches your das to see as if it's a movie. Is they're really moving and this and this. The truth is, you're just looking at a series of still pictures, right? So it's the kotzer das that gives you the impression of passing time. The same thing is with when it comes to need of zman, need of time, bichlal. Because when you think of it a little bit, time itself does not exist. The past, there's no storage of past. It's gone. You have memory thereof, you have pictures of it, you have records of it, whatever it is, but the past itself is gone. The future is not yet. You can fantasize about it, you can prophesize about it, which is emes, right? But it's not here. It doesn't exist. And the present,
Just happened.
no, it's not even this. The present is even less real than the past and the future. The present is just the point of kiss between the no longer and not yet. What they meet, that's the present. Right? So where's the time? How can anything exist before?
Raminatan says that. He says there's no such thing as time. He
That's
says
right.
in that lesson of Lamam Yazman,
Yeah, there's no such thing as time.
there's this thing. It's fantasy.
So the only thing that you have is an infinite number of still pictures, like a high definition movie that keeps on running, and you just don't have the das to realize that it's just still pictures all the time.
What does that mean? So what you just described is what time is.
Rabbeinu explains that time is the result, is the side effect, or rather the effect of constrictions of das, of smallness of das, of constricted consciousness.
Likutei 161. You have to read that. Sure.
So the minute that you have a bigger das, time shrinks. Because anybody has a seichel amiti, here you're born, you're going through your life, and you're done, you're going back home. Finished. The Rebbe says the minute that the Rosh Hashanah goes out, he says that I put my ear looking them for hearing them clapping for slichas for next year.
That's why the blind beggar says he's nothing. He remembers nothing because there's no time to him. It doesn't apply.
Time doesn't apply to him.
It doesn't apply.
Okay. So when we are talking about we are living within the realm of these constrictions of the smallness of mind. Within that smallness of mind, we are bringing in, we are connecting to sources of me'al hazman, me'al hadas, to or upon him, chaim nitzchim. That's what the tefillin does. Tefillin goes into the realm of time. You can put it on weekdays, you cannot put it on Shabbos, you cannot put it on Yom Tov, and that the person cannot put it when Chas v'Chalila he's an oval or whatever it is, the first day. The tefillin are your connection that within the realm of time, you have the aid to get to that beyond time, to get to that eternal life.
Are there some people who put it on during Holomoid?
There's a sheet that said the Cholomar. The Maisi is not supposed to. The Litvakas, they do that. They have but even then they say, you shouldn't put it together. You shouldn't put in a minion of people that without film. They shouldn't put it on. It's just what is good to do. Don't. But nevertheless, let's say that Minog Yisrael leave aside. This is we don't have the capacity to fathom or have any kind of a sobering of Gush Yisrael and their minhagim. So, B'ezrat Hashem will continue on Sunday.